So, come home from work thinking that it's just going to be a nice quiet evening, open up my phone, scrolling through Facebook, and I hear people talking about a ban list for One Piece, and I was like, what? And then lo and behold, I open up the One Piece website and we have been hit with an emergency ban list. Now, this does only come into effect the 28th of July, so we got about a week from the time they let us know that we can run around with some cards that soon we won't be able to run around with, or at least as many. No cards have been banned, just a few have been restricted. So let's have a look at what we've got. All right, so if we open up the One Piece website, we're hit with this giant, big, red, yellow banner here talking about a ban and restricted list update. So let's open it up, and right away you can see the date we were talking about there. So this comes into effect from the 28th of July. Now, there is a bunch of disclaimer stuff saying for all of these that it's definitely for the rest of OPO3. They might change it for OPO4, but probably not. We'll see what's going to happen though. But let's have a look. So cards now restricted to 1 copy per deck. The very first one is the big boy himself, Edward Newgate. Now, we knew Edward Newgate Whitebeard as a deck was, it could be a bit of a problem. And look, it's getting hit hard. Sorry for your Whitebeard players out there. But let's talk about the first one. So the SR, the big Whitebeard. So they do give a little explanation why they're wanting to restrict these cards here. So basically it's talking about, let's just have a read. When this card is combined with OPO2, Edward Newgate, or OPO1 Zoro, so those are the two leaders, the durability of up to one of your leader gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn, and then you cannot add life cards to your hand using your own effects during this turn, afforded players a substantial advantage against their opponents. Furthermore, using this card with cards such as Radical Beam and Guard Point enhance its durability even further, which is, yeah, fair, especially with Newgate himself buffing up to AK for a whole turn, and your opponent's turn sometimes just too hard to deal with, especially if there's multiple coming out. I know when I play Whitebeard, I want to see multiple when it gets to that stage, just to make sure I secure victory right there. Definitely super annoying to play against, so which is why they're restricting it here. Goes on to say, in addition, the introduction of OPO3 EZO made it possible to replicate the situation with a high degree of probability. So yeah, EZO definitely did make it more consistent to see multiple Whitebeards at the end game. Due to the above, this card has a high usage and win rate in tournaments, and we have determined that it impedes the offensive and defensive tactics that are central to the enjoyment of the One Piece card game. As a result, we have decided to designate this card as a restricted, up to 1 copy per deck only. Please note this restriction may be lifted upon the release of OPO4. So we'll see about that. Japan meta still, OPO4 Whitebeard is still running around winning a lot of things, so may or may not happen right there. And also another note there is this is only for the English version of the game. So the Japanese version of the game doesn't have these restrictions. It's just the English version of the game. Now, what can we do for some other options for Newgate? So this mainly does affect the Whitebeard deck. Zoro decks do sometimes run it. Personally, my build of Zoro, I don't run it, so there's not too much going to change in terms of that right there. But if you have a look here, these are maybe some options that might see some play because of Newgate getting restricted. Having the one in there is still going to be great. Run it. You can search it off the EZO and Whitebeard Pirates. But your things like Little Oars Junior, right here, 7 cost, 9,000 body, can be just help with a bit more aggro. Your ace as well. This is one of the promos from some tournament play you could get. It's a double attack. Maybe you might see more rush aces, rush Zoros in Whitebeard builds there as well. So option to run instead of all those Whitebeards. Let's move on to the next card. The next card is Marco, the OPO2 Marco. So let's have a little bit of a read here. So when this card is combined with Newgate and Zoro, the leaders, its on KO effect served a key function in boosting the deck's durability, and combining with cards such as Radical Beam and Guard Point resulted in high durability. In addition, the introduction of EZO made it possible to replicate the situation with high degree of probability. And then goes on basically the same thing. It's been involved in a lot of winning stuff, so we're restricting it to 1 copy per deck. So no more blocking, reviving your blocker over and over again. You still get to do it with 1 copy, which can still be quite good, but multiple copy is definitely way better. Now, what can we do? Because this Marco was running a lot of red decks, not necessarily just your Whitebeard. Zoro definitely ran it, Ace definitely ran it as well. Some other rogue random red decks have been known to run it as well, just because of that revivability factor there if you're running a Whitebeard package. So other options, we can go back to some stuff we've seen before, the kind of a Strawbeard kind of build there. We can more run some Turnitin Choppers there if you want to do that kind of thing there. Bartholomew is another one that we can possibly run as a blocker. Can buff you up to that 5k block if that's what you're looking for in your deck, if you want a 5k blocker rather than a low cost blocker. The Fossa and Blenheim, they're both Whitebeard pirate ones. They are searchable if you use on your Whitebeard pirates, if you want to stay within that searchable kind of blocker theme there as well. All right, moving on to the third card that is being hit by the restriction hammer here, which is Radical Beam. Let's have a read of Radical Beam. When combined with Newgate and Zoro, the leaders, and built into a deck with Guard Point as well. They keep mentioning Guard Point, but Guard Point's not being touched here, so hopefully it's not being touched later on. This card greatly improved a deck's overall durability despite having a cost of 1. So that it is pretty insane. Like early game, not that great, only buffs by 2k. But late game, when you have 2 or life less, the 4k buff, which is 1 on, is a bit insane. And basically just goes on to say exactly that. And then it's also being played in a lot of winning decks, so we're going to restrict it to just 1. So some options to run instead of a Radical Beam. We can run Green Star Rafflesia, so that's a 1 cost one that gives you the 2k buff, similar to what the Radical Beam would do. Gum Red Hawk, might see some more play of this one right here. So this one gives you that 4k buff, does cost you 2 Don instead of the 1 Don, but you also get to KO something with 4000 power or less, so can be quite nice if you want to play a more mid-range control-y kind of thing. And the other option that we can run is a Crossfire. So Crossfire is a main and a counter. If your leader has Whitebeard pirates, so it's only for Whitebeard, won't be for Zoro. You can give one of your opponent's characters minus 4000 power during the turn. So instead of buffing one of your own character leaders, you're just negging the same amount you would to another character. But it's great because you can use it on both turns as well. So it can help you with removal of stuff on your turn and not just work as a defensive thing on your turn there. And yeah, that's it. There's no other restricted cards there. We'll scroll down here just to make sure that Kabuji and Moby Dick are the only banned cards, which they are. So let me know what you guys think this is going to do for the meta. So Whitebeard is definitely taking a big hit there. Probably not going to see as much play, at least in the same kind of play style there. The big hit is definitely the Newgate SR. You may see things like the option card that helps you not take your own life as well. That's a good kind of replacement for the Whitebeard there. So you're going from one card that will do 2 things, needing 2 cards to do the same thing in the deck. Definitely makes it more clunky, a bit slower, but that is another option for you in there as well. Let me know what you think of the ban list. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it still going to leave us some problems? I think it's actually good for the Whitebeard issue. Zoro may be the next deck we complain about. Who knows? Hopefully not. I enjoy playing some Zoro. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for some updated deck profiles. We do have a few coming that are now going to be hit by the restricted list. Well, I'll probably still upload 1 or 2 of them because we've still got a bit of time to run them. Otherwise, we'll be doing the updated ones for you when we can. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.